welcome to lesson 5. You've been doing an amazing job, right? So today we're going to be breaking the numbers, right? How do we write numbers in Roman numerals? You know, we've been talking about the rules and the bridge not to cross. Now it's time to get real business. Let's go break it, right? So before we do that, let's review what we have learned so far, because it's important that you remember the rules and that you know what letters represent what number. So we said there are 7 letters, isn't it? E, right? Vix. Can you remember? Lick and dim, right? And because we know that the Romans have a particular interest in middle numbers, we know that this is 1, then the next middle number is 5, this is 10, this is 50, C is 100, D is 500, and N is 1000, right? So when we are writing a Roman numerals, we know that when a smaller letter follows a bigger one, we have them together, isn't it? Can you remember? When there is a small one before a bigger one, we do what? We take it away, right? We also do not have to write 2 letters to represent a number if there is a single one for it. Do you also remember that? And then we know the rule of 3. Don't write same letters 3 times in a row, right? And then that takes us on the bridge. Do not cross the 3 and the 8 bridge, right? So when you keep that in mind, it is time to write your Roman numerals. But we have to take the numbers 1 digit at a time, and that's why your place value is very important. So let's say we have a number like 17. What place is 7? This is units, so that means this is just 7, right? And then 1 is 10, which means this is a 10, and this is 7. So how do you write 10? How do you write 7? So take the numbers 1 digit at a time. So if this becomes 178, for instance, we know this is the unit, so this is just 8, this is 10, and this is 100. So this is a 100, this is 70. 7 tens is 70, isn't it? And then 8 is just 8. So I'll show you how to write this. Put the numbers together so that you write Roman numerals like you're a pro in it. Alright, so we have the first example here. Okay, so let's say we have the number 15, right? So we're taking it 1 digit at a time, isn't it? So we have, this is 1, and then this is 5. So this 1 is in the tens place, isn't it? And the 5 in the units place, which means this is a 10 and this is 5 units. So how do we write 10s in Roman numerals? How do you write a 10? 1 10. This is X 10. And then what is 5 in Roman numerals? Isn't it? That's V. So 15 in Roman numeral will be X and V. You just write them together. Let's see another example. So if we have 283, for instance, right? So let's put them 1 digit at a time. 2 is 100, isn't it? Because this is a unit, right? Maybe we should start from the back now. 3 is on the units place, right? So we have 3, 8, 2, right? This is 100, tens, and units, which means that this is 200. So how do we write 200 in Roman numerals? How do we write 200? 100 is what? C. So we have 2 of them. We are not breaking any rule because this is just 2. 200. Now how do we write 80? Because this is 8 tens, right? How do we write 80 in Roman numerals? How do we write 80? Right. Okay, so we know there's no single letter for 80, so we have to combine. What's the closest single letter to 80 that we have? Right? So if you remember, we have this. Let me show you this again. We have I, V, X, L, C, D, M. Right? It may be good for you to write this always in your book when you want to do that. This is 1, 5, 10, 50, 100, 500, and 1000. So we always have to start from the closest to the back, right? So 50 is closer to 80, so we start from 50. That's 50. How many more do we need to add to get 80? 50, 60, because that's a 10, 70, 80. Don't forget, 8 is the bridge that we shouldn't cross, so we are fine with this. Now, how do we write 3 in Roman numerals? 3 is 1, 2, 3. So what is 283 in Roman numerals now? We just need to write these numbers together. C, C, L, X, 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 I, I. So much for 283. But that's how to write it, right? Okay, so let's see some more examples. Don't forget that line. Maybe you need to always write it out so that you know what to do. Okay, so let's have 4-digit number now. If we have what do we have? 1524. Okay, so let's put it out 1 digit at a time. This is 1. See, I'm taking my time. I don't want to be too fast. Better slower, and you get it then faster, right? If you're not getting it. So this is 5, this is 2, and this is 4, right? I always like it when you're doing your mathematics. Speak it out in words. These things have life, so don't just take them as figures, right? So talk to yourself as you're doing this, right? As you're writing it in your book, talk to yourself. Okay, that's good. So let's put the place values on them. This is unit, this is tens, and this is 100, and this is 1,000, isn't it? Okay, so now we start from our left. How do we write 1,000 in Roman numerals? M, right? So we're fine. We just need one of it. How do we write 500? This is not 5. How do we write 500 in Roman numerals? We have a single letter for that, isn't it? That's a D. How do we write 2 tens? 2 tens. 2 tens is 20, isn't it? So how do we write 2 tens in Roman numerals? How do we write that? Okay, so we have 1 10 and 2 tens. We're not breaking any rule. That's 20. So how do we write 4? 4 is ahead of our 3 bridge, isn't it? So we have to start from the next letter, right? So let's go back to that line that I said it may be good for you to always write it. So you have I, V, X, L, right? That is C and D and M. And this is 1, 5, 10, 50, 100, 500, and 1,000, isn't it? Okay, so we know that we need a 4. 4 is in between I and V, isn't it? Right? But we can't write I in 4 places, so we have to start moving backward from 5. That's the bridge that we shouldn't cross. In fact, when you see anything 4 and 9, just move it from the next Roman numerals, right? So V is the next one. So we have 5. How many do we need to take from 5 to get a 4? I. So we have 4. So now how do we write 1,524 in Roman numerals? We just write all of this together. So this is M, D, X, X, I, V. Now let's try one more example before we go. Let's write 9,909. Do you want us to try this? Okay, so this is 9909. As usual, let's have our place values. So we have units, tens, 100, and 1,000. So how do we write 9,000? Are we going to write 1,000 in 9 places? No, we would be breaking a rule. Now, do you remember our bar? Right, so we can have a 9. 9 will be I and X. Don't forget. right? 9 has already crossed the 8th bridge, so we have to move back from 10, which is the next Roman numerals that we have. So this is 9. We'll put a bar on this because a bar means multiplied by 1,000. So this means 9 multiplied by 1,000, which is 9,000. So we have IX, that's 9,000. How do we write 900? How do we write 900? 900 is close to 1,000, to 1,000, because it's crossed the 8th bridge. So we have 1,000. How many do we need to take from 900 to make it, from 1,000 to make it 900? Just need to take away 100. So we take 100 away, and we have CM, that's 900. So how do we write 0 tens? Nothing, 0, nothing. There's nothing in the tens place. So how do we write 9 units? 9 is close to 10, it has crossed the 8th bridge, so we start from 10 and we take 1 away from 9 to have a 9. 1 away from 10 to have a 9. So how do we write 9,909? It is IX with a bar. This bar only covers 9 to tell us this is 9,000. Do not draw it above to cover all, right? We'll be multiplying the entire by 1,000. That's what it means. So we have CM, I, and X. So it only takes patience and then applying the rules to be able to put all of these together. And I trust that you will do justice to it so beautifully. So what have we learned today? Take the number 1 digit at a time, write out the Roman numerals, and then put it together. Don't forget to keep a clean note, writing your examples so that you can refer to it later. Tomorrow is going to be beautiful. You know, I already promised you we're going to be playing a game together, solving quizzes together online, right? You're amazing. I'll see you tomorrow. Don't forget to take your quiz. This is a long lesson, right? But I promise you tomorrow is going to be super fun. I'll see you later. Bye.